Good afternoon, everyone, and thanks for joining our webinar today. I'm just going to give it a few more seconds or so because we've just got a few people who are just in the process of joining the webinar. So just give it, as I say, a few seconds or so just to let everybody get joined and be let in through the waiting room. Okay, I think we've got everybody in now. So thank you very much for all of you who've taken the time to join. I'm joined today by my colleague Mike Dawson, and what we're going to be talking about today is some simple tips on how you can look to simplify your processes in your business, potentially improve customer experience. Obviously, we're all very, very aware of the fact that we've got a budget recently announced. There's going to be changes that are going to hit all of our businesses. We're also in a predicament where we've got the renters' rights bill going through. So of course, everybody is looking at their businesses, how they can streamline, how they can improve efficiency. So I'm Jo Dickens. I lead business development for the Barben Group, which is made up of our trading brands, Home Let and Let Alliance. Mike?
I'm Mike Dawson. I head up sales for that same group, trading brands, Home Let and Let Alliance, and echo Joe's point. Really appreciate you all joining us.
So I put in a couple of stats because I thought these were quite interesting. So Repit, who are obviously a major CRM in the industry, who we actually integrate with as well from the purposes of referencing, found that agents can lose up to 15 hours a week on repetitive tasks. And we all know that in the lettings industry, everything is very, very administration and compliance driven. And I think it would be fair to say that, given the renters' rights coming in, given increases that we're seeing in, from our perspective, claims and legal cases with landlords wanting property back, that legislation and that compliance burden is not going to go away. And according to this recent survey by Property Mark, most agents are saying that reducing administration is a key priority to enhance efficiency in the business.
I think it's important as well. With renters' rights comes an opportunity to review how you do things. So obviously there's going to be a lot of changes around the compliance element of moving tenants into properties and going through the process of gaining repossession of that property and everything that falls in between. But also it provides an opportunity to just review end to end how you do things as a business right now, and is it fit for the future?
So that leads us on nicely to leveraging the technology that's available to you. So have you recently thought about software that can actually help you with the compliance processes? I mean, I remember back in the day, I'm showing my age now, I am going back 15, 16 years, but we literally had a paper-based file, and on that was a checklist, and those were all the things that we had to make sure that we'd done. Now, of course, a lot of that now is done via your systems and CRMs. But have you considered if there is additional software, if there are functions, if there are apps as part of your CRM that can actually help you with the compliance process? So what we'd advise is just make sure you're speaking to your existing suppliers. If you work with us, speak to us, understand what's available. If you work with the likes of Repair, I Am Property, SME Professional, speak to them, understand what they can offer to you outside of the normal suite of products that you've currently got in use.
Correct. And for businesses like us that are supplier to letting agents across the UK, it's about connecting up that customer journey from your perspective to find solutions utilising technology in a fashion that I'm sure you didn't use 15, 16 years ago when you were talking about it before, Jo.
No,
I won't
definitely.
tell you where I was 15, 16 years ago, but there we go.
Stop it, Mike. You'll be making me feel old. So reviewing processes across the business. you know, everybody is going to be doing this given the budget announcements that have been made. You know, we as a business, you know, Barben has in excess of 400 team members. So you can imagine that the changes in NI alone are going to be hugely, hugely significant. So, you know, for you guys, it's not just about looking at your CRM, but it's about where can we utilize technology with things like payroll software, banking software. Are the platforms out there that can help you with utility management? Are there external suppliers who have systems out there that you can utilize? We talk a lot about automation, we talk a lot about making the most of technology, but have you also considered opportunities to perhaps outsource wherever possible? Have you considered AI? I mean, I saw a talk a couple of years ago at the Property Mark conference where we were talking about AI and how that could help with things like property particulars. It was staggering. But that sort of technology is in use regularly in our everyday lives these days. So look at things like that. Look at systems that you might be able to use to outsource. You know, more and more we're hearing of people outsourcing things like management inspections, things like inventories. You know, is there something that you could outsource? You could save yourself time to be able to focus on driving new business, driving more revenue into your business, whilst you've got someone completely independent who is a specialist in their area picking up on some of that heavy lifting for you. It's all about
Brilliant.
enabling your people to focus on the growth and focus on service delivery over these basic administration tasks.
And if you haven't already got this, it'd be something that you recommend to do as an exercise, given obviously the amount of change that's going through the industry at the minute. Have your processes mapped end to end, from getting in at first thing in the morning all the way through to the end, last minute of the day on a Friday afternoon. Have you got those processes mapped end to end? And then on the basis of doing that, it enables you to take the next step with the action that we've got on the screen now.
So implementing, integrating, as Mike has said, you know, almost like a drains up root and branch review of what it is you're doing, what is available to you, and how are you going to connect the dots. So actually, have you figured out that Repit can talk to Let Alliance's Vision Plus platform and prevent some some duplicate data entry? Those are the sorts of things that you could look at just to start reducing the admin time for your team. You know, there are firms out there who can help you with utilities management. You know, again, showing my age, but I used to sit there and email Chester City Council to let them know that there'd been a change of occupier in a property. I used to have to phone MPAN, find out who supplied the gas, find out who supplied the electric, get on the phone to those suppliers, and get on the phone to the water board. Now, I know for a lot of you those days are gone. If they're not, you know, we have solutions available with our partners at Help the Move that can help you with reduction of basically removing all that utilities administration from your business. So it's things like that, looking at the options, connecting the dots, and being able to then implement change within the business. And as I've said before, you know, ask your partners, ask your existing partners who they've got integrations with, see how they can benefit you, see how they can benefit your team, and speak to your team as well. Because quite often, as business owners, it's very easy to think that perhaps we might have the most streamlined processes, but actually, the people who are doing the day job, who are sat on the front desk, who are taking the calls, who are doing some of this administration, they might have some really good ideas as well. You know, in our business, we run things like team forums, and the feedback that we get from those can be really, really valuable in how we then define our proposition and how we run our business.
When you do that exercise where you've got it process mapped, I'm sure it'll be frightening, just the sheer volume of duplicate data entry that you have across the business, whether that's one time, two times, three times in multiple different platforms. if you can try and reduce that and remove that, and utilize the ability to integrate the customer journey, so making it a better journey for your tenants, for your landlords, everyone's winning, and there's a lot of opportunity to become more efficient. Myself and Joe, meet with letting agents across the UK every day, and when you ask questions and you provoke answers to those questions, I think that the key word efficiency, and we saw it on the earlier slide in terms of the work that Arla had done, in terms of a survey and analysing what letting agents were saying, and the biggest need was to become more efficient. How can we become more efficient? How can we drive efficiency? How can we reduce admin? How can we be more focused on customer service? How can we have our people sat in front of customers every day, utilising that to grow the business, to generate more in terms of cross-sell opportunity, but also at the same time to deliver the best-in-class service that you possibly can, to keep the business on the front foot in this changing time.
And I think in any business, especially for you guys as agents, there is so much competition out there that you've just got to be, the best. You've got to be at the top of your game all the time. So, this is where we come on to how you can continue to improve your business, keep the reviews of technology ongoing. Don't just think, right, we've made some changes, we've rolled those out, technology is moving at such a rate, let's make sure that we're ahead of the curve and we're constantly reviewing things. We know that as an industry we've got to evolve. We're going to face a huge amount of legislative change this year. I've put down there who thought we'd be paying for our shopping with our mobile phone 10 years ago. Mike and I were on a very long drive back from our Lincoln office to Chester last night. We pulled up at Tesco's, we needed to get some fuel, and guess what? You can't actually pay for it in the shop. And you can't fill up because you've got to pay at pump, and you've only got your mobile phone because they need a contactless card. Like, historically, so again, I'm showing my age, it's terrible this, I would pull up at a petrol station, an attendant had come out, they'd fill the car up with fuel for you, and then you'd have to go in and pay. We can go around a supermarket now, and not actually meet another person, because you go round, you get your shopping, you self scan it through the checkout, and then again you pay for it on your mobile phone. And I think, in lettings, this is about evolution. This is about cross-sell opportunities as well. How can we be extracting more value from the amazing service that you offer to your landlords? And that's where I mention reviewing your fees. Are you charging appropriately for the service you provide? Are you throwing things into the mix to to be the top agent without actually charging for them appropriately? Because actually, there's huge value in all the services that you offer to your landlords. Make sure landlords understand that value, and invest in your team. Property doesn't work without people. We can talk about tech, we can talk about automation, but ultimately, this is a very people-focused business as well. Look to the likes of Property Mark, the Guild, us, Agent Rainmaker. There's a huge amount of resources out there. Use them, invest in them, because actually, team members who feel empowered and motivated are going to do a much better job for you. And this is something, Mike, you feel very passionate about, dispelling the myth of prop tech. So focus on problems that actually need to be fixed, as opposed to just using technology to potentially fix a problem that isn't there. And leverage the onboarding journeys to maximize value, which we're going to talk a little bit more about now.
Yeah, I think the key is when you do that review, you've got the end-to-end journey, you've got it mapped out on your walls. You've got it documented how where your negotiators are, where your valuer is, how this fits with this, and what input you guys have in as business managers or owners into that part of the journey. Don't go too far, because again, we talk to a lot of letting agents across the UK, and it's almost like this buzzword prop tech has taken over, and there's businesses out there that are identifying and leading with solutions to problems that just weren't there. And they have this amazing sales spiel, and you think you're blown away in terms of what it provides, but actually you've just tied yourself up to a long-term contract, significant subscription fees, and an inability for you to vary what you do with that kind of a business. So it's important that when you're doing that analysis, when you then go to implement, you're implementing the right changes. And then from our perspective, we feel like we've given you somewhat of a head start with what we've got on the screen. So this is how our letting agents move people. So obviously starting from the point of booking the market appraisal all the way through to the point that you then register tenants onto our platform, reference the tenants, move in post the deal being agreed. There's Joe touched on it before, but there's lots of different touch points for you to engage from a cross-sell perspective. So once you've made the business more efficient and you've got yourself fit for the future from a renters' rights world perspective, utilize what we've got on the screen and our resources to not only integrate the journey. So are we integrated with your CRM? It's a very good question. Are we able to deliver utility switching through our partner Help the Move? Yes. What other areas would benefit you in terms of for us to integrate with? So we've rolled out Vision Plus to all Home Let and Let Alliance customers fairly recently, but the bonnet's up. So if you were to be quite clear that, listen, this would be really, really helpful for us by the way of integration, let us know and we'll go away and we'll have those conversations, because it's a bit like a jigsaw. We want to connect that jigsaw as much as we possibly can to make you guys and that customer journey as seamless as possible. But from a cross-sell perspective, when you're having a conversation with a landlord, are you talking about landlord insurance? Are you talking about mortgage? Are you then engaging with that landlord at a future date to offer the opportunity for a potential emerging property coming onto the market, an opportunity for them to scale up their portfolio? We all know that there's a lot going on in the market around challenges for landlords. A lot of landlords have exited the market recently, but there's also a lot of landlords out there that want to continue being landlords and they do want to scale the portfolio. So are you having those conversations? Are you completing fact finds with all of your customers? And then are you leveraging the opportunity to instigate conversations on things like landlord insurance, buildings and contents insurance, rent guarantee? And the art in that is, it generates the business more income, more value, but also it makes your customer base stickier. So the more products, the more services that they're benefiting from with you, the stickier the relationship, and the less likely the landlord's going to get wooed by a cheap fee type arrangement that will come out from one of your competitors or one of the online providers across the UK. So we detailed that initial stage of the tenant journey, then go into the process of once the tenant's completed, the tenant's had the reference completed, tenant's been told that the reference is completed and they're moving into the property. You've then got other elements up and until tenancy renewals. But what's really interesting is how many of you know that our software now can send the tenancy agreement. So all the data that we collate by the way of for the purpose of referencing, we can collate the tenancy agreement for you. We can serve the how to rent guide. We can serve gas safe certificate and all the other relevant documentation.
All the mandatory documents effectively and the prescribed information, that's all in there.
Correct. We can prompt tenants to pay the holding deposit, tenants to pay the deposit, first month's rent. We can collate a rent schedule for you. We can then integrate that process with your CRM. So all of that we can see on the screen now, that's enhancements that we've delivered within our Vision Plus platform that you're maybe not benefiting from now. So as you're doing that review that we spoke about earlier, challenge us as well. What can we do more to deliver for you? And what's really, really valuable is the platform that I've got on the screen and the journey I've got on the screen. It's subscription free. So there's a lot of prop tech out there, as we spoke about before. It comes with a hefty subscription fee. Sorry, we're subscription free. It's all about delivering service to letting agents. That's what we believe in. So our core strategy going into a post renters' rights world, or leading up to a renters' rights world, to support you in becoming fit for the future, is how can we help and support you to become more efficient? We've spoken a lot about that today, not just about us, but also about other elements of your journey, your customer journey, your processes within the business. How can we drive growth into the business? So it's really difficult to bring on new landlords. It's really difficult to scale up your managed portfolio. But what can we do to actually help and support in making the landlords and the relationships, the tenancies you've got today, more profitable and more valuable? And at the same time, alongside that, how can we protect your business? So we're coming up to renters' rights world. How can we protect your business? How can we support even more so over the coming months as we navigate this systematic change for the industry?
Thanks, Mike. So I'm just going to, I've popped up this slide. Obviously, my direct contact details, Mike's direct contact details are there. So, if there are any questions that anyone wants to pop into the chat, we're more than happy to answer those now. Or if you prefer to do so, feel free to send us a quick email or give us a quick call. And we'd be more than happy to answer anything that you might think of after this session.
The waiting game now, see if anyone's got any questions.
The session has been recorded as well, so it will be made available for anybody. I know there was a few people who are sort of joining halfway through and things like that. So it's been recorded, and obviously we will share a copy of the recording. But otherwise, I think we'll say thank you very much for joining us today. Hope this has given you some really useful food for thought for your business. And as I say, if we can be of any assistance, don't hesitate to get in touch.
Thank you.